Good evening, everyone, and buenas tardes a todos. As I thought about these awards tonight, I thought about, among many things, the fact that but a couple months away, it will be 10 years since the attacks on 9/11. I remember telling my students that morning, as the events unfolded, that life in America would never be the same. I also realized that it could lead to a military conflict, and I was concerned about my son who was in the service. But relieved, Josh was in the Navy. After all, they just float around in boats. At least that's what I told my father, and later on my son, who both served in the Navy. They always made fun of me for being in the Marines, who they said were nothing more than servants for the Navy. On August 10, 2004, my son Josh died, along with 3 other Navy men, in the crash of their jet flying off the USS John C Stennis. They were members of the same Blue Wolf squadron that had flown off the aircraft carrier to North Island to pick up President Bush and fly him to the USS Abraham Lincoln, which was returning from 9 months deployment at the start of the Iraq War. If you ever see the footage on TV of the jet landing on the aircraft carrier, you will notice the Blue Wolf logo on the tail section of the plane. When all this happened, I no longer wanted to coach or help young people because I felt my advice to join the armed forces had caused Josh's death. I decided I would keep coaching, but switch to, of all things, girls soccer. I was told there were a bunch of players who didn't want to play and didn't care, and that they would never play for me. I thought if that was the case, it would be a perfect match. A coach that didn't want to coach, joining a bunch of players who didn't want to play. Those who told me this were wrong. I found a bunch of players with the heart and determination to succeed not only in soccer, but in life. Perhaps all they needed was a coach who believed in them and will push them to succeed. The more I was around them, I started to get the fire to coaching them. I learned some things about my players that made me realize maybe it was meant to be for me to be coaching these young ladies at that point in all of our lives. You search for something good to come from a tragedy. This was definitely one, because I would never have met any of them but for the fate of BlueWolf704. Starting this scholarship a few years ago is but a small way to honor the men of Blue Wolf 4. They were Lieutenant Commander Scott Zone, Lieutenant James Puppolo, Lieutenant Patrick Myrick, and AT2 Joshua Showalter. They all left behind women and wives and children, but they are all doing well, and the kids one day will know the story of their dads who gave their lives serving the country. The ladies I will name in a moment have had obstacles thrown in their paths on the way to graduating from high school. They have refused to let this stop them, and I am sure they will achieve great things in their lives, and I am proud to be their friend and have them join me on the stage. And Karen Caldera and Karen Edwards, please come forward. One final thing, I want to especially thank Navy SEAL Team 6 for helping ease the wounds of all those affected on 9/11. Thank you and God bless America.